Thank you so much for coming out to the first ever Mobile on Air. We hope you enjoyed the presentations and got some really valuable takeaways. Billie and I did. We're going to do a couple things here. We are going to share some key summaries from the day. So just a few slides, and then we'll share instructions as to what's next, what to expect with Happy Hour. But just a reminder for those who didn't get to meet us at the beginning of the day, we start things off. I'm Nate Wootten, Director of Product Innovation at WIllowTree, a product development consultancy, and I have my colleague Billie here.
Hi, and I'm the Director of Growth. Happy to be here, happy to join. So jumping in, I had a blast watching all of the sessions today, moving around between main stage, some of the side sessions. Tried to pull together a few of the takeaways that I had, though I'm sure everyone is leaving with some great tidbits of new knowledge. So one of the things that I heard consistently is that personalization is one of the greatest opportunities to engage users in 2020. And when we're talking about personalization during the Mobile on Air conference, we don't just mean using people's names in the subject line of an email, but we really mean how do we use their location? How do we use custom attributes about who they are? How do we use their behavior and their content consumption to drive how we message them into the future, to trigger messaging based on their behavioral attributes? So loved the deep dive into all of the different levels of like personalization, localization, and how to accomplish those tactics today. Another big takeaway that I heard is how technology is becoming a driver of creativity. That if you have the right tech landscape, if you have the right ecosystem of tools that work together, they can empower all of your marketing teams across different divisions to really do some cool things and think outside the box, think differently about how they put together creative assets, messaging, segmentation, and how you can use all of that creativity to drive engagement with the brand. But I think what we heard the most is like the consumer is the brand. What the consumer needs, what they care about, what they're consuming, they need to continuously be the motivating force behind what's shaping growth of the digital product itself, growth of the marketing experience, technology decisions, pretty much everything that's happening as the brand goes to market. I also heard this a lot, which is like, don't let data destroy the irrationality of marketing. I think all of us have worked with old school marketers who will say they just trust their gut. And while I think a lot of new school marketers tend to cringe at that and say, trust the data, it's really important to keep that sense of like, let's try things. Let's create a hypothesis here and let's act it out based on what we think we know about our customers or our users. But you still have to have data guide your product roadmap and the features that you build, the technology choices, and how you track the human experience so that if your gut is wrong, you don't spend thousands and millions of dollars on an experience that isn't what your users were looking for. Another thing I heard is calibrating out vanity metrics to focus on key growth drivers. Gone are the days where it is imperative to care about how many people have potentially shared a piece of content or engaged with a social media post. And in are the days where you're really looking at what you can possibly measure. I heard in a session today someone say that if you're not willing to measure it, it's probably not worth building. And I thought that was great. The right tech stack allows you to get rid of vanity metrics, focus on leading and lagging indicators of growth so that every place you're putting an investment of staff time, of development hours, of creative energy is going towards things that are actually going to engage users. I heard this a lot around iterating on technology with new information, that it's no longer the right mindset to think about investing in a piece of technology that's going to last 10 or 20 years, set it and forget it. You have to continuously change your technology and how it's set up to respond to the changing needs of your consumer base as well. If your consumers start to use different third-party data that can be layered in to inform marketing, that's a really important custom attribute to add to your CDP, for instance. Or as you continue to build out different product experiences or dashboards or focus on different types of growth metrics, you have to adjust that in your product analytics, you have to adjust that in your engagement platforms, you have to adjust where and how you're tracking your users in real time. And then, as always, I don't think this is a new one, but automated behaviors for cross-channel should start with user behaviors and have a unified trigger strategy behind them. So this starts at the basis, the most foundational components of your growth stack around like your event naming and your event taxonomy, and then needs to carry through your entire growth stack so that all of your downstream channels from, say, your CDP or your source of truth have this unified feel to them. And then finally, and I loved this one, was around making faster marketing cycles a success metric of your technology. So if you can measure your throughput time of how long does it take to launch a campaign, generate results, and iterate based on those learnings, track that time, and then set shortening that time as a critical success metric of your adoption criteria in your expansion for new technology, because that's when you know you're working with best in class.
Great. Thanks, Billie. Short and sweet takeaways. So thanks, everyone. One last time. What we have next are a few things. Just want to share that we all take the opportunity to network. It's more important now than ever, really, to connect with peers. So we're building an awesome community over the Mobile On Air Slack channel. So if you haven't already, we'll be sending an invite and a follow-up email, so make sure you join. It's a way to stay connected and continue some of the conversations started today. And then up next, we have a networking and expo events, which are now open. Basically, it's happy hour. So some good news to everyone. We have an open bar meaning your kitchen at home. So go grab yourself your favorite beverage and jump in the networking room, the expo, and then we also have virtual booths for another round of live Q&A. So a lot of our partners will be in there. So thanks again, one last time. I'm Nate from WIllowTree.
And I'm Billie. Really appreciate seeing everyone today, all the questions and engagement. It was great.
Bye, everyone. Stay in touch.